Arrogance is a vice Christians must guard against. This constituted the core of the Holy Father's catechesis at St. Peter's Square today as he addressed thousands who turned out at the Vatican for his weekly catechesis. Priests of the Diocese of Buea took a break this May 22nd to reflect on their pastoral ministry. They had a meeting earlier today at the Pastoral Center led by the Bishop of Buea, His Lordship Michael Bibi. And a pontifical high mass is built for Saturday 9 a.m. at the Divine Mercy Cathedral to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Diocese, of the Diocese of Buea at the deanery level of Moliko Deanery. Welcome to tonight's edition of our primetime news. Those were our top stories. The development of the news would be yours in a bit. Welcome back, dear viewers. In Rome, according to his weekly catechesis, the Holy Father Pope Francis on this Wednesday's weekly catechesis has called on Christians and pilgrims who were in attendance to guard their souls against the vice of arrogance, and with the Virgin Mary as their model, he called for a return to the virtue of humility. Father Michael Njumo has more on this report.
Brothers and sisters, humility is everything. It is what saves us from the evil one and from the danger of becoming his accomplices.
Concluding his catechesis on the theological and cardinal virtues, the Holy Father Francis hinges his teachings on the virtue of humility, which stands as foundation of every virtue. The Holy Father teaches that pride and arrogance inflate people's egos. Humility reminds us of our true nature.
Una virtud que está en la base de la vida cristiana y es la gran antagonista del peor de los vicios, que es la soberbia. La humildad nos ayuda a ubicar todo en su justa medida. Somos criaturas maravillosas pero limitadas, con cualidades y defectos.
If one faces a challenge and needs a model of humility, Mary remains a beacon of such humility in scriptures.
Mary is careful not to take the center stage. Her first decision, after the Annunciation of the angel, is to go and help to serve her cousin. Not even the most sacred truth of Mary's life, being the Mother of God, becomes a reason for her to boast before men. In a world, we can imagine that Mary too had difficult moments, days when her faith advanced in darkness, but this never made her humility waver. Because in Mary it was a granitic virtue, and I want to underline this. It's a granitic virtue.
Aside, the Holy Father urged the pilgrims to pray for vocations, particularly in Italy.
Io vedo queste novizie e mi domando quanti sono italiane? Poche. C'è una scarsità di vocazioni nell'Italia. Pensiamo e preghiamo per le vocazioni, alla vita consacrata.
Pope Francis concluded his audience by inviting all to pray for war-torn areas, and after the Paternoster, he blessed all present at St. Peter's Square.
Many thanks to Father Michael Njumo for bringing to us that report from Rome. And now back in the Diocese of Buea, the entire Presbyterium of the Diocese of Buea, together with their Chief Shepherd, His Lordship Michael Bibi, gathered today, this May 22nd, 2024, at the Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center to discuss issues pertaining to the life and ministry of the priest. This was also in a bid to enhance pastoral commitment and solidarity among the priests, as Father Alphonse Wangibe tells us in the following report.
Meeting at Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center, our priest of the Diocese of Buea, together with their Bishop Monsignor Michael Bibi, to discuss pressing issues that will foster the spiritual, material and financial growth of their diocese. Revisiting the pastoral commitment of the clergy, seminar for young priests to guarantee ongoing formation, devotions as benediction on Sundays, parish catechesis, the diocesan feast day, and the 75th anniversary, to name a few. The vicar for clergy, Father John Chamda highlights more about the meeting and how impactful it will be in the life and ministry of priests.
The meeting was convened, first and foremost, it is regular, not extraordinary. And it was convened this time with two important aspects: the well-being of the priests and the commitment to their ministry. And during the meeting, the conversation was very lively, very, very participatory, and I think satisfactory as well. We again reiterated their daily activities to be very active in the parish administration, the celebration of the sacraments, and more especially the celebration of the Eucharist, which is the center of our lives, and how they should make this frequent and to help the people deepen their faith and to also participate in every aspect of parish life.
The pastoral director, who also gave a huge input during the meeting session regarding the welfare of permanent catechists, expressed his personal sentiments of the entire meeting.
On the agenda, we had an intervention with regards to the life and ministry of the catechists. And in this intervention, it was brought to the knowledge of the priests to reflect about it and also to accept the indications from the diocese as far as the policy is concerned, especially as full-time catechists are concerned. And the policy spells out clearly that the full-time catechists are employed by the diocese. And the vision of the bishop is to be able to make the necessary working conditions to be better. One of the indications that was given is that for the salaries of the catechists, like any other diocesan worker, they are going to, once they sign the contract, they are going to be on a basic salary of at least 60,000. So I think the meeting today was a very cordial meeting. It was a meeting of gratitude, encouragement, and areas where there were some difficulties in understanding and resolution. I think everybody at the end of the day is happy, and we are moving on as a family, as a diocesan family.
The young priests, having learned about the seminar concerning their ongoing formation, gave a positive assent to this and how beautiful and beneficial it will be for them in their ministry as well.
It's something wonderful, most especially for the young priests, because we know formation is an ongoing something. And after the seminary, there is another reality. So like when we leave the seminary and come to the diocese, there are many things that we still need to learn. There are many things that we need to get engaged in to better up the ministry and to better up ourselves as priests also. So I think this formation is to fortify us, to strengthen us, pertaining to, what we have to do as priest in the diocese.
Newly ordained, who was equally present for the first time with the entire presbyterium, revealed his feeling throughout the meeting session and how he requires that this come more often than not.
From what I have seen today, I think such meetings should be monthly even, if possible, because it was an atmosphere of dialogue. In every society, every community, every country, if there is lack of dialogue, there is a problem or there will be disorder. So I think this is a better way to make the presbyterium a better one, because with this dialogue, it will go a long way to solve a lot of difficulties and challenges in the presbyterium.
All in all, the clergy of the Diocese of Buea parted ways in satisfaction with renewed enthusiasm to continue proclaiming the good news as one family, trusting Christ is with them always.
A pontifical high mass to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Buea at the level of Moliko Dineri has been programmed for this Saturday, May 25th, 2024 at the Divine Mercy Cathedral in Moliko. The information was made public today by the Bishop of Buea, His Lordship Michael Bibi. Jude Mbaku now gives us a full readout of that circular.
May 22nd, 2024. A communique from the Bishop of Buea. May God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, in communion with the Holy Spirit, give you grace and peace. From Friday 24th to Saturday 25th May 2024, the Moliko Dineri will have their 75th anniversary celebration. The high point of this celebration at the Dineri level will be a pontifical mass to be celebrated by the Bishop of Buea on Saturday the 25th of May at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral, starting at 9 a.m. All the Christians within the Moliko Deanery are invited to participate massively in this deanery celebration. I would equally like to invite all the pilgrims who made the just ended pilgrimage to Rome from the 2nd to the 9th of May to be present, because their certificates of participation will be distributed in the course of this Mass. Anyone amongst them who may not be present for one reason or the other should send a representative to collect his or her certificate of participation. We remain thankful to God for His graces on us as a diocesan family, and we continue to pray for the maternal intercession of Our Lady Queen of Peace. On my path, I assure you of my constant prayers for you and your families. Yours in His service, Michael Miabeswe Bibi, Bishop of Boya.
As the Diocese of Boya prepares to celebrate its 75th anniversary and to host the Bishops of Cameroon for the 49th Episcopal Conference of Bishops come 2025, construction works are speeding up at some project sites, particularly at the 1,000 capacity hall and the electrification of the second building of Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center. These project sites will serve to hold meetings as well as spiritual exercises for the upliftment of the Christians. Our reporter Nadej Me visited some of these sites and compiled for us details of the updates on the projects in the following report.
After the bishop and his consorters paid a visit to some major projects in the Diocese of Boya recently, construction works and finishing touches continues on the second building of Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center, the convent and the 1,000 capacity hall. These projects are already witnessing a speedy progress as workers are spotted here, putting every energy to deliver it soonest. These projects will serve as places for meetings and spiritual activities. Everything is being put in place to ensure its completion thanks to the effort of His Lordship Michael Bibi, his collaborators, workers and Christians of goodwill. Meanwhile, the roofing of the 1,000 capacity hall at this center continues, with the contractors doing all they can to finish before the rain becomes severe. At the second building of the Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center, which consists 52 rooms, finishing touches continues, like the whitewashing of the outer walls, tiling and dressing of the second floor. Additionally, electrification works too are on. Note should be taken to the fact that in just few months from now, the Diocese of Boya will celebrate its 75th anniversary and also host the Bishop of Cameroon for the 49th National Episcopal Conference come 2025. This therefore means the project should be completed as soon as possible.
On our foreign page tonight, Chad's Prime Minister and former opposition leader Succès Masra has resigned following the confirmation of the interim president Mahatma Idris Deby as the winner of the May seat presidential election, and hundreds of hostages who were held captive for months and years by Boko Haram extremists in the northeastern Nigeria have been rescued from a forest enclave and handed over to the authorities. Joseph Otop has details of this and more on our foreign page.
Armed men have attacked remote villages in north-central Nigeria, killing at least a dozen villagers during a late-night raid, authorities said this Tuesday. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, which follows a similar pattern 2 years long. Violence in the region blamed on the fight for control over water and land between nomadic herders and rural farmers. The local Punch newspaper cited witnesses as saying at least 40 people were killed in Plateau's West district on Monday night. However, the government officials told the Associated Press only 12 casualties have so far been confirmed. The attackers opened fire on villagers in Wase Zura community, forcing many to flee into nearby bushes. Musa Ashums, the State Commissioner for Information, said the motorcycle-riding gunmen attacked the village following a security operation that targeted their hideout and aimed to wipe them out of the area. Chad's Prime Minister and opposition leader Success Masra has resigned following the confirmation of interim President Mahamat Idris Deby as the winner of the May 6 presidential election. Masra, a strong opponent of the junta, was appointed Prime Minister of the transitional government in January 2024, 4 months ahead of the poll, in a move to establish a positive relationship with the opposition. Not long after that, he declared his intention to run for president in March to return the country to constitutional rule. Chad's electoral body, however, declared Deby Itno winner with 61% of the vote, while the leading opposition candidate and head of the transitional government, Prime Minister Success Masra, lagged far behind with an 18.5% share. Masra has acknowledged the council's ruling and said there were no legal means to contest the result, while Deby Itno, also known as Mahamat Idris Deby, seized power after his father, who spent 3 decades in power, was killed fighting rebels in 2021. Told the Associated Press, only 12 casualties has so far been confirmed. The attackers opened fire on villagers in Wase Zura community, forcing many to flee into nearby bushes. Musa Ashums, the State Commissioner for Information, said the motorcycle-riding gunmen attacked the village following a security operation that targeted their hideout and aimed to wipe them out of the area. Chad's Prime Minister and opposition leader Success Masra has resigned following the confirmation of interim President Mahamat Idris Deby as the winner of the May 6 presidential election. Masra, a strong opponent of the junta, was appointed Prime Minister of the transitional government in January 2024, 4 months ahead of the poll, in a move to establish a positive relationship with the opposition. Not long after that, he declared his intention to run for president in March to return the country to constitutional rule. Chad's electoral body, however, declared Deby Itno winner with 61% of the vote, while the leading opposition candidate and head of the transitional government, Prime Minister Success Masra, lagged far behind with an 18.5% share. Masra has acknowledged the council's ruling and said there were no legal means to contest the result, while Deby Itno, also known as Mahamat Idris Deby, seized power after his father, who spent 3 decades in power, was killed fighting rebels in 2021. Hundreds of hostages, mostly children and women, who were held captive for months, some years, by Boko Haram extremists in northern Nigeria have been rescued from a forest enclave and handed over to authorities, the army said. The 350 hostages have been held in the Sambisa forest, a hideout for the extremist group which launched an insurgency in 2009, Major General Ken Chigbo, a senior Nigerian army officer, said last Monday while representing them to authorities in Bono, where the forest is. The 209 children, 135 women and 6 men appeared exhausted in their worn-out clothes, and some of the girls had babies believed to have been born from forced marriages, as it is often the case with female victims who are either raped or forced to marry the militants while in captivity.
That report brings us to an end of what we had for you, compiled for tonight's edition of our Primetime Newscast. I will continue to pray for the victims and wish them well, but before we take leave of you, let us have a recap of our top stories. Arrogance is a vice Christians must guard against. This constituted the core of the Holy Father's catechesis at St. Peter's Square today, as he addressed thousands who turned out at the Vatican for his weekly catechesis. Priests of the Diocese of Boya took a break this May 22nd to reflect on their pastoral ministry. They had a meeting earlier today at the Pastoral Center led by the Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi. And a Pontifical High Mass is billed for Saturday 9 a.m. at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Boya at the deanery level of Moliko Deanery. Thanks for joining us on tonight's edition of our Primetime News. Hope to see you again tomorrow for more of what we would have gathered as concerns news in the Diocese of Boya, within the nation Cameroon and in the world at large. We live in the company of more interesting programs on DMR TV. For me to you, it is bye-bye.